I've started 3 channels, but I've also worked with many channels. And the thing that I think most creators get wrong is not giving away their secret sauce. One of the things I think is important that, and I'm noticing brands don't do this nearly as much as companies don't do this nearly as much as they should, but having an avatar. For my first channel, my guy's name was Jared, and I could see Jared. And so anytime I was making a video, and on days where I was just like, I don't want to make another video today, the thought came to my head was, Jared needs you today. Jared has a question. Jared is trying to build his business, and maybe the video that you put out will give him what he needs to keep going. And maybe he'll give up if you don't. It's really hard to keep going sometimes. But if you have that one person in mind, it doesn't matter. The only thing that really gets me back to, oh, I still need to post, is knowing I have that person in my head that needs my help.
How you doing, everybody? Michael Lewis Hudson, welcome back to a brand new video. So excited to have another guest on today. His name is Zach Mitchum. He will be giving us some good tips about, growing your audiences on YouTube, on TikTok. And then also I'm very, very interested to learn more about Amazon Live. So welcome to the channel, Zach. Glad to have you on. How you doing, man?
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm doing well, a little under the weather. We just got back out of town. And so if my voice gets a little hoarse, I've got something to drink here, but doing well. Things are going crazy. So I appreciate having me on.
Cool, man. Cool. So yeah, I know that we met originally. We're part of the same YouTube group, kind of like a YouTube growth group with Think Media. People don't know who they are. Really amazing group. They share their tips and how to succeed on YouTube. And that's how Zach and I first met. And ever since then, we've been kind of supporting each other. I've been following him for quite some time, and I've just been really impressed with what you've done, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it's interesting because you and I, I've tried to keep in touch with a lot of people from the group, but not a ton of people have really taken off. And you don't have to take off, but I've seen your stuff and the quality's gotten better, and you've been doing ads with companies. I don't know what all you're doing, but I see you and I see things progressing and getting better, which I think is all part of the game. As a creator, you just got to keep going.
Yeah, totally, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Yeah, and I actually interviewed Ryan Johnson, the intermittent fasting. He does that for his niche. We had a really good interview, by the way, but I told him the same thing I'll tell you is that, you guys really pushed me to just keep going just by looking at your guys' content, because I see how consistent you are and just how much you're getting better as well. Every video and piece of content you're putting out. I mean, I know before you were talking about your studio. I mean, you had a different setup and stuff, and now you're just really crushing it, man. So you've just been a huge inspiration, and you definitely keep me going. So let's jump right into it, man. I just wanted to get kind of a gist of, how you got into YouTube, why you got into YouTube, and just, just your journey from the moment you had the idea of starting the channel till now.
Yeah, no, I think, and I've thought about this quite a bit because I've asked a lot of content creators, I'm like, when did this start for you? And usually they have some sort of instance when they're between 10 and 12, or it was I kind of like video. It wasn't necessarily a big thing, but I always wanted an MP3 player or a video camera. And we grew up poor, and so I was able to eventually get one, but it was my kid's camera, his toy camera, is better resolution than that video camera had. But me and my buddies we'd make videos, and I'd video everything just for kicks and giggles. But I remember back in, I want to say maybe 2008, I actually recorded a YouTube video, never posted it. I watched it back, it's oh, this is terrible. And so instead what I did was I didn't know you couldn't do this, but I stole a news clip and I posted it on my channel. I got thousands of views, oh, this is awesome. And then it got copywritten and taken down. It's oh, okay, never mind. I clearly don't know what I'm doing. But I was actually going to PA school, or going to school to go to PA school, which is physician assistant. I just wanted to, I don't know, go in the medical field. A lot of good there, I think. But we moved back from Missouri to Utah. It's a long story, but the short of it is that I found John Shanahan. He runs the Cavalier. I was this is kind of cool. He's got a lot of videos. Wonder what's going on here. And I reached out to him. I reached out to several other people. So hey, could you tell me about this? It's hey, why don't you, let's chat. Do you do anything? It's yeah, I can write articles. It's well, why don't you write some articles for me for free, and I'll just kind of mentor you, and you can see if you like this. I'm okay, cool. Noticed his videos made a lot more money than mine. And when the pandemic hit, I was okay, I went from having a ton of clients I was working as a contractor selling bespoke suits, $3,000 plus suits, and went from lots of clients to nothing. And I was finishing up school. I'm okay, we got to do YouTube. Like I've seen John, replace his working income at 50,000 subscribers, and he had a very solid income. I don't know exactly what it was, but I'm like, okay, cool, I got to do this. Fast forward 9 months, I started giving people advice, and they're like, what do you charge for that? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, for your service, what do you charge? So I just gave like a number, and that was what I used to make full time at my best job for like 10 hours a week. Like, oh yeah, cool, let's try it for a couple months. Like, oh, okay. And then a couple of companies did that, and eventually went through word of mouth. Eventually started working with agencies. I've worked with 3 marketing agencies so far, and it's just kind of, I don't know. I think I'm gonna write a book one day called Accidentally on Purpose, because it really has been just like these perfect accidents that have led me to the next thing, where I always feel like I'm just a little bit, over my head. Yeah. But I'm leveling up. So.
Wow, man, that's great. And I know that when we first met, you're focusing on the kind of like men's style for people who are like muscular style, which was a pretty cool niche. And now I think you're focusing more like on content creation, like helping the content creator every day, which is an awesome niche to be a part of, because I think right now we're still kind of like at the beginning, in my opinion, as far as like creating video. And so I think that's pretty cool. So can you talk about like that transition, like why you wanted to transition to that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think trying to remember the exact point where I went from one to the other, but I just had so many people asking me questions of like, what camera should I get, or what microphone, or how do you get your videos to look so good? I was like, I'll start making content on it, because I like to dig into things. And not that style wasn't something I still loved, but I was just kind of not as interested. And I've been so busy, I've been letting that channel die. And funny enough, it's growing more now than when I was posting. But I don't know. I feel like I'm serving more of a purpose when I'm helping someone to get paid doing what they love, than just helping someone to dress a little bit better, or find, like I have really wide feet. I have odd proportions. So helping someone like that find clothing, like that's great, but it's not nearly as fulfilling as helping someone, because I've been in that situation where you're working a job that you hate and you can move into something where you get paid doing what you love. That's life-changing. Finding the right t-shirt, it might help you on a date, but it's not life-changing. So I just kind of started transitioning that way, and I've had a lot of success that way. I think I have between TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, I think we're just under 40,000 followers for We Are Video Makers, and I started that like 9 months ago, maybe. So it's grown a lot quicker than the muscular style stuff did. That's awesome. And I think, like what, the great ones say, they always say, fail forward. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say muscular style was a failure, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you learned what you liked and what you didn't like, and you use that for your next channel, which is amazing. And I kind of relate to that, because that I was kind of making some like golf content. I kind of felt the same way. It's like, I love golf, I love playing it, but am I really going to change people's lives with playing golf? And I'm not even really that good. So it's like, I was just like, man, what's something else that I can do? So we're kind of like in a similar boat in that I'm focusing more on business owners, helping them thrive online, things of that nature. So I'm starting to head in that direction. With that being said, what are some of the things that you learned so far as like YouTube, like some strategies that you've learned along the way, as far as growing your base and just creating a culture for everybody? Yeah, no, I think it's because I've started 3 channels, but I've also worked with many channels. And the thing that I think most creators get wrong is not giving away their secret sauce. And what I mean by that is, typically as a creator, it's like, okay, well, I eventually want to make a course on this, so I'm just going to give away this much. I'm not going to give away everything. And the more you give away, I think of Alex Hermosi, he's one of my favorite examples of this. Obviously, he doesn't need the money, but amazing. He gives everything away. And because he gives everything away, he's the expert on what he's the expert on, because he's shown you. And quite honestly, the people that you want to work with anyway, like the clients that I want to work with, I give everything away, and then they're like, I don't have the time to implement this, so why don't we hire you? The people that are going to take the time to figure it out, they're not going to pay you what you want them to pay you anyway. And so whether you're working with clients or whether you're just building your channel with content and doing brand deals, affiliate, things like that, the more you can give away, the more you can share, and the less you reserve, the faster you're going to grow, the more of a following you're going to build, and the faster you'll get paid. I had a strategy that I developed, and I was like, oh, this is a brilliant secret. There are other people that knew it, but on TikTok, I reached out to a guy. He runs a mastermind that I'm part of, and literally that group has changed my life. But the only reason I was part of it is because I reached out and said, hey, you're killing it. I love your content. I just want to share a tip with you. And I shared it with him. Normally I would charge for it. But he took my tip and used it way better than I did. He went from 20,000 on TikTok to 40,000 in a month. It's like, whoa, okay, you nailed that. It's like, yeah, that was awesome. What services do you offer? Can we hire you? And come to find out, he owns a 75-person marketing dental agency. I'm like, okay, cool. Like and I wouldn't have had that connection if I just didn't come in with, I just want to give value. Like, I didn't expect that to go anywhere, but I just gave away as much as I possibly could.
Wow, that's incredible, man. That's great. Was he the one that you brought on to your show?
No. So okay. Far on my show, I've had Sev. I'm trying to remember Sev's last name. Anyway, he's in Australia. He was a teacher, and now he has 1.1 million on TikTok, and he's built 2 businesses from that. We do have Chris Stone coming on. He's Amazon Live, and then Chris Doe, who is a business expert. He's a lot of things, but he's one of my mentors, and he's coming on the show as well.
Oh, nice, man. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So you mentioned that, providing value, right? And just being able to connect with people in that way. So, someone who's starting out, brand new to YouTube, brand new to TikTok, brand new to video in general. Say I'm coming up to you, what would be like the number one piece of advice that you would give them?
I would say practice. When I first started, because of the group that we were in, one of the things that I took away from it was, take a week essentially to create a video and practice over the week and get 1% better at one thing, but it's a week-long process. And what I've recommended people now to do is get 30 videos out in that first month or two. And whether that's TikTok or whether it's YouTube, I did actually on this first channel, or on We Are Videomakers, I did 30 videos in like 40 days, and it was exhausting, but I learned the voice of the channel. I learned what people don't want to see. I learned what I didn't want to do. And same with TikTok. I had to post about 100 videos on TikTok before it really started going anywhere. But I had to learn TikTok. I had to learn, because I came from YouTube, where it's like, oh yeah, like I was doing 60-second TikToks, and people on TikTok, they want you to get to the point. They want you to they're there for 10 seconds, maybe. And when you're going, it takes you 10 seconds to introduce your TikTok, people aren't watching. So practice and figure out what works and get your voice down. Like if you're creating a few videos every single day for, more for TikTok, YouTube, you can as well, but it's easier to do on TikTok. Even if you don't get a following, even if you don't get very many views, when you've hit 200 videos posted, your skills are 10 times better than when you just started. And that's what's important. You need to take these skills over to be able to build an audience. It's not about the views. It's not about, you can go crazy viral on some dumb dancing video, or you had some crazy accident. That could kill your channel, because people are following for this thing that you don't want to be known for. So it's not the views, it's not the followership. It's what message are you sharing? Who are you helping? And what are you, what audience are you building?
That's awesome, man. That'd be great advice. So, you mentioned earlier that, you get exhausted maybe making 30 to 40 videos this first month. And I'm sure, we've had private conversations in the past where man, we just want to give up, and, we're just feeling frustrated. So what were some things that you did that kept you consistent, kept you pushing through on those days where you just want to, I don't feel like shooting today?
One of the things I think is important and I'm noticing brands don't do this nearly as much, as companies don't do this nearly as much as they should, but having an avatar, and not just a male 35 to 45, that's not an avatar. An avatar is a person that you can picture in your head like a close friend, maybe not a close friend, but an acquaintance, somebody that you know. And so for my first channel, my guy's name was Jared, and I could see Jared. And so anytime I was making a video, and on days where I was just I don't want to make another video today, the thought came to my head was, Jared needs you today. Jared has a question. Jared is trying to build his business, and maybe the video that you put out will give him what he needs to keep going. And maybe he'll give up if you don't. And so if you don't have a person, one person, not this group of people, one person that you're talking to and that you're trying to help, it's really hard to keep going sometimes, because it's just the masses, I'm not getting the views. But if you have that one person in mind, it doesn't matter. because you're not trying to get the masses to watch your stuff. You're trying to help Jared. You're trying to help Catherine. You're trying to help that one person that you've pictured and that you've outlined as the person that is watching your content. So I think that helped the most. I did 3 to 4 videos a day for 90 days on TikTok, and it was a lot. I got burnt out pretty bad. And I haven't been consistent since. I have started posting again, but I've had a lot of agency stuff and a lot of other things going on. But the only thing that really gets me back to, I still need to post, is knowing I have that person in my head that needs my help.
Wow, man, you're gonna bring me to tears, bro. That's man, that's crazy, man. That's good. I mean, I think a lot of people don't even know who they're talking to, and that's pretty inspiring to know that you had that, because I think at the end of the day, you have a mission and you're trying to help people with that mission. So that's definitely going to keep you going through the tough times. So, you just mentioned you're doing like 3 videos a day on TikTok, or you did that before. So, yeah, I mean, what was your typical day like? I mean, would you batch shoot, meaning that you'd shoot multiple videos in one day, or would you just shoot 3 and just edit it and post it that day and do it the next day? What was kind of like your routine?
Yeah. So one of the things I tell any content creator is make things as simple as possible. And I say that as you don't even want to see my desk of all of the complicated stuff that's going on that I'm trying to figure out right now. But what I mean by that is make it as easy as possible to record content. So in my studio, I do this professionally. So I do have a YouTube studio, but my light switch powers a power strip. Everything's plugged into it. My camera, my dock, my lights, literally everything. So when I walk in, I flip it on, everything comes on, and I can sit down and record. When I walk out, flip it off, everything shuts off. Not everybody can do that, but it's one example of making it simple. And then on Monday, I would come in and I would shoot 30 TikToks. And throughout the week, what I would do is I have a note on my phone. And anytime I saw a TikTok that I liked, I would favorite it so that I had it on the list. If I watched a YouTube video that I was like, hey, that's a great idea, let me make a video on that. Or if I was listening to a book or anything, like I would just make notes. And so by the time Monday came, I usually had about 30 video ideas. And so I just said, hey, like I realized that 60-second TikToks are not great. My best ones are between 15 and 20 seconds. So I can do 30, 15 to 20 second videos. Before editing, they're 30 to 40 seconds a piece, but I have 30 videos to edit, and I wouldn't batch edit them because it would take me about an hour or so. But I would edit 3 to 5 a day, and then I would post them throughout the day. I have a process that because I have captions on my videos and I like them to look a certain way. And so it was a edit on my MacBook, send it to my iPhone, put it through an app, and then up, like it was multiple things. I wish I could simplify that part. It's easier to record 30 videos sitting down all in one go than try to get myself to sit down 7 times in a week and record 3 to 4 videos a piece. So, find the little things that make it easier. An hour of recording is a little draining, especially when you're going through that many topics, but then it's done. And you can, if you have an editor, send it over. Or if you don't, you can edit a few a day. So that was kind of my process that way. I liked it because I could go throughout the weekend. Another thing that I didn't mention was people would ask questions on the videos, and I could note those questions. And then I had an easy response instead of typing it out. And I would always respond, but I could, on good ones, make a video response to that. And I like that as well. So.
Wow, that's awesome, man. And so like with these 30 videos, do you script all of them, or do you just kind of just have an outline and you just speak off the cuff, or how's that work?
Yeah. I've never been good at scripting anything. Even when, growing up, I would give talks in church and things like that. I have a note card with like bullet points. And so I know there are people like, I have to script it out. I can't do that. It goes terribly wrong if I do that. So I obsess. I have Asperger's, so I hyper obsess on the thing that I'm like very interested in. And this is going on in my brain 24/7. And so to be able to talk about all these topics, it's really easy for me. And that's why, TikTok videos are 30, 40, maybe even up to a minute long, because I've said a bunch of stuff and I'm like, I don't need to, we'll cut that out. And I've said it a few different ways. And so no, I didn't script any of it out. It's just, this is what I do all day, every day. So I can talk about it.
That's great, man. That's awesome. So, you relayed to us some strategies for YouTube and then TikTok. And now, I noticed that you're starting to do Amazon Live, and correct me if I'm wrong. I know that I think you go on every single day at the same time. Is you still maintain that schedule?
Been trying to. Yeah. We just got back from traveling for 10 days. So I haven't been doing it as much. But I was doing 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. So wow. for an hour. But yeah, it's Amazon Live is, if you have an audience, because you do have to have an audience to be able to qualify to be an influencer. I've never seen a platform be able to monetize that quickly ever.
Wow. So, I mean, does it work the same way as, going live on YouTube, or is it, what can you kind of go into the details about Amazon Live?
Amazon Live's, it's interesting. So you have to go live from an iOS device, so either an iPhone or an iPad, which is kind of weird. But in the app, you select a bunch of products. It's called the carousel. You're going to select up to 40 products, and those are essentially what you're going to talk about on the stream or have something related to the stream. One mistake I see people make is like, oh, well, I'm only going to talk about 5 things. It's like, okay, well, pull in another 35 things, because Amazon's going to put you on those product pages. So if you don't pull them in, you get less reach. But then you go live. It's really weird because typically what I do is I go live through OBS, which is a software on my MacBook, so that I can have everything hooked up the way I want it. And in order to get it from my MacBook to Amazon, you have to actually click go live in the app on either your iPhone or your iPad. Like, it's not, you can't just go direct. Like, it's a weird thing. But then you also control that carousel on your iPhone or your iPad. So if I'm talking about a particular product, I can select it and it'll pop up in the stream as featured. And so if someone's like, hey, this is really cool, I want to check it out, which people are either usually finding you on a product page, because as they scroll down, you pop up with a live stream, or there's a few other ways, but they say, oh, that's actually what I was looking for. So one, I can ask Mr. Live Streamer a question and see if it's the right thing for me, or I just click over and then purchase it. And so instead of like on YouTube where it's like, oh yeah, check out in the description below, there's a link, and then they've got to go through multiple steps. It's literally on the page. They click it, they're still listening to you, and they can check out. And if they watch your live stream, anything that they buy within that 24 hours, just like your other Amazon links, you get a commission for. So the first month, I think I ended the first month with like 40 followers, but I made almost $400. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the second month I started doing a giveaway, and I found a way to kind of grow faster. I think maybe I ended with like 200, but I made $850 the second month doing it. So it's just like, whoa, this is incredible. And I was getting 3,000-4,000 views a stream, sometimes up to 5,000 or 6,000 with just a few hundred followers. So it's like, this is crazy. There are some frustrating things where it's like on YouTube, you can do SEO, like different things like that. So there's less of that with Amazon, but the potential for you to make money and the potential for you to be found is so much higher. I get more views on my Amazon live streams than I do on TikTok live streams by multiples.
So basically you can go live and then someone would have to search the product and then click on your stream, or can they just find you and just go on the stream? How does that work?
So yeah, there's 3 different ways. So you have, as an influencer, you have a storefront. And so on there will be, I don't know if you've scrolled down on an Amazon product and you see these videos, it's right above the reviews. And you're like, oh, maybe those are customer videos. It's weird. It's a weird space. Only Amazon influencers or the brand can put videos there. And so, that's one of the ways. And those videos will show up on your shop page, essentially. Your live streams, your most current one, will also show up there, and there's a few other things there. But you actually have a page where it's all of your live streams. And so people can find you there. Most people aren't finding you that way because they have to go to amazon.com/live and then browse through the live streams going. So unless you're just like, hey, I just want kind of a live stream to watch, it's not usually how it happens. On product pages, though, once you start scrolling down, it's, you have the product and then you have the typically purchased with and a couple items. Right below that, if there's someone live streaming that's talking about that product, you'll see this little video and it'll say watch now, and they're live streaming and talking about that product or related products. And so most people find you through those pages because they're just randomly shopping and they're like, oh, hey, someone's talking about this product, cool, let's hop in here, and I don't even know what this thing is. And I think that's usually how it happens because watch time's short. But I've had streams where I made $150 and it was an hour long. I was like, this is absolutely insane.
Dang, that's nice, man. And so like these items, the 40 items that you get, I'm assuming that you probably have some of them physically, or do you kind of just talk about all of them that are on your storefront? Yeah,
no, that's actually a really good question because so in the live stream, a few of the things that Amazon wants you to do is display them as much as possible. So there's 2 ways that I do that. One is, I will physically have whatever product it is. And so we'll pull it out and do a demonstration on it. The other way is I actually have a Stream Deck. And so what that is it's this little controller with a bunch of buttons, but I have a bunch of B-roll videos that I've already done preloaded. And so it's like, there are some microphones. I bought $3,000 worth of microphones. I only kept one of them. I sent the rest back, but I have videos of the microphones. And so I can play them and say, hey, here's who this microphone's for. It looks like I'm physically displaying it, even though I don't have the product anymore. So that's another way you can do it. But you can't just throw a bunch of TVs and like high priced items, like, oh, hopefully somebody buys something. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, why do you like this TV? Because the point is for people to hop in, and it doesn't happen as often as it should, but to talk to you about the product. It's like, I don't know anything about the TV. It's like, okay, well, why is it in your stream if you know nothing about it? So you don't have to have a niche on Amazon, which is also kind of weird, but you do have to have knowledge and be able to talk about whatever those products are.
Got it. Cool, man. That's great. I'm definitely gonna look into that, and I feel like it's kind of like at the inception period right now. Like not too many people know about it. I mean, I think it's a good way to make some side income.
Absolutely. And I think this is kind of in the works. But one of the agencies, the agency I'm working with right now, they do full service Amazon services. And one of the things that I'm doing a lot of content for them, but one of the things that I offer is I know a lot of Amazon Live creators. And so if they have clients that have products that it's like, hey, we want live streamers or shoppable videos or other ways to promote on Amazon, I can hook them up and say, hey, buddy, content creator, this brand wants to pay someone to create content. You interested? Kind of that deal. And so we decided to do kind of two things. One, I'm going to have a group. I need to figure out how I'm going to do this, but maybe invite only. I was going to charge for it, but I don't really want to do that. I just want it to be a really, really good group of content creators so that we do like trainings, help you to elevate your content, but also to help you to get on Amazon Live and to do really well there. And then we're also building an agency, and the agency's in the works right now, but essentially we want to be able to connect Amazon brands with Amazon creators. So I'll have kind of these two halves where it's like, hey, we're helping people over here, but I have this large group of people that I've been helping for free that trust me. And then I can come over and say, hey, this brand wants to pay you a few $1,000 to do some content. You cool with that? I don't know any content creators. You're like, no, sorry, don't pay me to make content. So it's, I don't know. I feel like Amazon is it's going to be huge. If you look over at Asia, if you have an influencer do a live stream for you, you'll sell more in that one live stream than the entire year combined. Like that's how big it is there. So we're just at the very, very beginning, even though it's been a few years that it's been around. So I'm like, okay, cool. I've got to really capitalize on this, learn this really, really well. It really does look and feel like YouTube circa 2008, 2009, where it's like, we don't know what's going on here. Like we see like, it's cool, it's working, but where's it going? It keeps changing. And like, I think, especially with Amazon behind it, it's gonna be huge.
Man, that's super exciting, man. Yeah, keep me posted on that group, man. Would love to be a part of it and help you with that mission. I definitely want to respect your time, so I just had a final question for you. What are kind of your future plans? I mean, as far as like goals are concerned, and growing as a person and as a content creator.
Yeah, no, I think that's an excellent question. One of my mentors, so I'm in a group of agency owners, and I'm the one exception who's not running a 7 or 8 figure agency. But one of the questions that he asked was, if someone came and bought your business for $1 billion, what would you do? I was like, well, I think I would buy the best YouTube studio space I possibly could, create amazing content, and then we moved to Colorado recently. I'd get a place up in Breckenridge and have a YouTube / content creator, conference, so to speak, every, so often, and pull in content creators that I know have potential, but maybe can't afford to be mentored by some of these amazing creators, and I will pay the amazing creators. And so, what I really want to do is to be able to have this group. I think this group is kind of the culmination of everything I've been doing, where I have 1 to 10,000 creators that are just really doing some incredible things, and the agency is doing, 10 million a year, where it's, I can go where I want to go. I can do what I want to do, and I can hang out with creators who understand a lot of the challenges that I have, but we can also help each other to build businesses that really make an impact and make a lot of money. Content creation is so underrated. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, it's oversaturated. Oh, it's kind of hit its peak. in my opinion, it's just at the beginning. It is
totally
the very, very beginning. And it's going to be a career path that, it makes more millionaires than, what currently does, in my opinion. And I could totally be wrong. But yeah, that's my goal. So I want to be able to have just the infrastructure, one, do what I want to do, but two, be able to help as many people as possible. And I connect with content creators who are business minded better than anything else. And I feel like we're getting a lot more of those. So I want to create a great space for them and just share the secret sauce, give as much as I possibly can, because that's really what's fulfilling in this life. Like I thought through it. It's like, if I had that $1 billion, then what? Like, what purpose are you serving? And that's what really matters. And these two things that I'm doing, it might change in the future, but for now, I can see me doing that for the rest of my life because it does fulfill that purpose for me.
Wow. Great words, man. That's super. I'm super excited for you, man. No doubt in my mind, you're going to be able to reach that. I don't know when, but I know for sure it'll definitely happen. So with that said, thanks so much for joining us today, man. Really do appreciate it. How can people find you? Can you go ahead and list your how people can follow you and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to find me on Amazon Live, if that's interesting to you, if you go to wearevideomakers.live, it'll take you straight to my live streaming page. You can find me, We Are Videomakers, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You can go to wearevideomakers.com. That's where I have my site. I actually do quite a few giveaways as well on Amazon. I've been traveling, so I've been slacking, but WAVM, so like We Are Videomakers. So WAVM.live, that'll take you right to the giveaway pages. All those places you can find me. And I've had a few people ask if I do private coaching, things like that. I used to offer that. I don't now. I really want to give it away for free. So I will have that group eventually on wearevideomakers.com for you to be able to join. But yeah, for now you can find me there. Cool, man. Awesome. Hey, thanks, Zach. Really do appreciate it. Looking forward to staying in touch and seeing you grow, dude. Yeah, that was good. It was good to catch up again. Thanks for having me on. I'm going to have you on. I do an Amazon Live show, so we'll have to have you on and talk about content creation, building and really helping businesses thrive. I feel like that's something more people need to understand, especially coming from a content creator perspective. Definitely. Looking forward to it. Thanks.